It's your boy, Eric, and my boy, Lyman, and we are here, the Restaurant 360 podcast. You see half his face if you're watching on YouTube. It is our very good friend and our guest of the hour, Mr. Erin McClelland.
Yo.
What's up?
Now,
not the easiest name to spell on PR.
Nah,
Can you change your last name to like Smith or something?
Dude, the hardest thing in the world,
Good
and
Lord,
let's
this guy.
start right here. Every time, Erin is a musician. Let's start right there, right? And an exceptional
True story.
musician. And a teacher
know
now.
about
I mean, you're a teacher. You teach music.
I've been at it for a while.
A long time. How long have you been playing?
I've been playing since 94, which would be when I was 14. And
Nice. So you're old. There's his age.
there we go. Just turned 42, and I've been teaching pretty much since high school.
So you play a ton for us, and he has for years. And we'll even go back to back in the day when you used to drink too much at the end and not play enough.
Ooh.
But
I'm pretty sure that still happens.
not a boy. Every time we put you on our website, we spell your fucking name wrong. Eric McClelland was the
Not
last
me.
one. No, it's
I
not
think
you.
there's 7 C's, 4 L's, and 2
crazy.
E's.
It's crazy.
involved.
Or Aaron.
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 Or Irwin.
I
Ian.
feel
Irwin,
terrible.
Eric. The last one was Eric.
Eric McClelland. Well, I want to be him. Maybe that was like I didn't do it. It was not me.
I want to be you with that head of hair. How do you
Dude.
even hang out with this guy?
But
Look at that.
I mean, come on. I'm compensating on the lower half of my face.
Okay, good. Thankful you said, because you lower half and froze there. That would have been weird.
So it all went from up here down to here.
That's
right
it.
to his,
That's
and you do have a great beard.
It's
Thank you.
it's fierce.
I think
It's
I'm
pretty-
ready to get rid of it, though. It's
pretty
I think
intense.
it's time.
I just had to as well, actually, the other day.
So 14 years old. Why? What was the reason you got into this?
Oh, man. Well, my older brother, Mike, who you guys probably don't know, he's about 12 years older than me. He had always played. And so I would be like, growing up, elementary school, 7, 8 years old, listening to Appetite for Destruction, listening to Kill 'Em All, Metallica, all that good stuff. And he was playing, he had been in high school, and he was that cool older brother who played guitar. He'd be outside, like, lifting weights. We had our weight bench outside. He'd plug in his guitar outside and, play, like, Pink Floyd songs and Metallica and Guns N' Roses.
Love Pink Floyd.
Yeah, and so he always played, and then good friend Andy Moses started playing because his dad is a great player. And I was like, well, I'm not going to let him, get all the glory here. So we ended up starting to basically learn around the same time. He had a little bit of a head start, but I was like...
Andrew Moses,
yeah,
who's another, by the way, if you don't know, is another huge musician locally. Sorry.
absolutely.
Continue.
He'll always be Andy.
Heck
but he
yeah,
goes
there you
by
go.
Andrew.
Dude, this is going to drive you crazy, but I'm going to shift the camera. You guys keep talking. Don't mind me. I'm going to move the camera position.
That's fine. Keep going. So,
Go ahead.
All right.
Metallica.
Yeah, Metallica, man. And so, 12, 13, 14, I'm starting to listen to, like, my brother was kind of transitioned from a lot of the 80s rock. He was like The Dead and Pink Floyd and some of that psychedelic stuff. I started listening to Santana, all my brothers, Hendrix, Clapton. And so that was a huge catalyst. Like, I remember one of the defining moments for me before I played was air guitaring in the mirror. I was like 12 years old, which would put me in like
Yes.
6th, 7th grade. Air guitaring to the Comfortably Numb solo from Pink Floyd, which is still one of the most iconic
Legendary.
classic solos of all time. And I just had that moment where I was like, I could do this. This is what I'm going to do. And also Jim Morrison, The Doors, huge influence on me.
So it started with the love of music.
Absolutely.
So it didn't just start, hey, I'm going to start playing. I'm going to take some lessons and fall in love with this. It's like, no, the
Right.
music is fucking awesome.
Yeah, Andy and I were both more or less self-taught. I mean, his dad taught him, and my brother taught me. But the interesting thing was that my brother was up in Vermont at the time. And so he was in like Stowe area, Montpelier, right in the capital. And, 1992, he starts telling us about this band. I'm 12. He starts talking about this band, Fish. There's this band up here. They're incredible, blah, blah, blah. So, it was that. It was The Dead. It was the Jim Morrison kind of attitude of just like...
And that sucked you in.
Yeah, it really did, man. And like Hendrix, Clapton, like the whole thing. All those guitar players from that era, it just spoke to me. And also, you got to think around this time is Nirvana and Pearl Jam, and they were like two of the biggest influences on me as well. So it was like kind of like a perfect storm of like all these things coming together at the right time.
The wheels
perfect
are the
end.
things on the car that make contact with the road.
And my thing, I always make you when you play
You like
your
that?
Pearl Jam. I need my Pearl Jam.
That's right.
You crush it.
He's one of my heroes.
Oh
man.
my God.
My friend,
Crush
he's
it.
got a knife.
Come on, Lime. What else you got there, bud? On the 1-2s.
That's fish.
I know.
You don't know
I'm
that.
not a zero.
Stop it.
No, I knew it was fish.
You
but
didn't know that was fish.
Well, I knew it because why else would you sing that?
Stop. My dad
Well, I know it's not Pearl Jam.
worked with Trey Anastasia's father at ETS.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And what's ETS?
Educational Testing Services, the company that made the SATs, the MCATs, the CCATs, the PCATs,
Lot of cats.
the
DCATs.
the Praxis test.
Wow.
So when you decide
Yes,
to do music
sir.
at 14, I mean, you just start getting chicks right away. When do? Because it's automatic, right? I mean, music and chicks or dudes, whatever your thing is. I know yours is chicks, but either way, do they just
Call me later.
They love it, right? Don't they?
Yeah, it's a little.
Maybe back in the day, I think it's.
Hey, where's your other hand?
Right, dude. It's hands up.
Hands
Hey,
up.
Dude, it's automatic, right? It's automatic.
Yeah, chef.
Maybe back in
chefs
the
too.
day.
Let's not discount the chefs.
Oh, the chef. No, it's got.
Absolutely.
I would say, right or wrong, other than maybe a movie star or a mega professional
Yeah, musicians. Yeah, the lead singers. Yeah, it's kind of
I
their.
would say that in cancel culture and in the last couple years, I think it's actually a stigma that can work against us more
Of
than
course.
for us. I think back in the day that held true.
But it's way different now.
It's way different now. And that I remember a defining moment when I was up at school in Boston, a bunch of us hanging out in the dorm room, big circle of kids all just being like, so what got you into, we'd known each other for a year. We're all strangers, but we became friends. We came tight. And then one afternoon, it just kind of was one of those moments where we all just were like, so what got you into music? And we just like legit went around the room, like 10 or 12 of us, like my best friends. And I never forgot Seamus, wherever you are, man, what a tool. He said, I was just, I probably told him like my Floyd story, like, because I got to see, real quick, I got to see the.
Get that mic in front of your mouth a little better.
There we go.
Oh, he's
There he
telling me
is.
to put my mouth on it. It's
Dude,
getting weird already, dude.
It's getting weird. It's how it goes right in.
Real quick, I'm going to sidetrack and tell you that what really got me, what made me move in the direction to like definitively choose this was about 6 months after playing. I went to see my brother in Vermont and saw Buddy Guy, legendary blues guitar player, open for Santana. And in the same week, both of my brothers were there, and we are hiking. We hiked up this mountain, camped, playing guitars. We were like playing basketball by day, going to the rec pool, swimming. Like it was just like the three brothers guys week. It was an amazing time, and I saw Buddy Guy open for Santana, and I saw
Carlos Santana.
the Grateful Dead's first ever show in Vermont, which was my first show, 94.
Never saw the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, with Jerry, Highgate, Vermont, and they had this African artist, Yusu Andor, open for them. Incredible
how
moment.
cool.
And then it was the trifecta was Fish's homecoming tour on Sugarbush ski slopes in the summer after their first big tour of their first big album, Hoist. That was like kind of like the first MTV video. It really was the catalyst for them to. So those three shows, I had just seen Floyd at Veterans Stadium, and I'm like, this is on. So anyway, that's like my real story of what not just got me into playing, but what took me to the next step. So I tell them the story, and Seamus is like, everybody had their own thing.
Oh, so you got this big inspirational, like, this is so deep, and then it's and you, Seamus, what's your motivation for playing music?
I was like, just thought it was for the chicks, man.
Yes. Yes. And he
Crickets.
and he's not like
Thanks,
I'm surprised-
Seamus.
I'm surprised he's not like super famous.
Grab me a
now.
beer.
No, and he can't even play, like, not to
man.
be a dick or whatever.
So he wasn't even that good.
No, like, he probably didn't even finish.
So
Oh,
he's
man.
good. Oh no, I won't.
Poor Shane.
No, go for it.
No. I was going to say something inappropriate, but I will refrain.
Nerd. Really? You're gonna hold back? I respect
No,
that.
it was maybe a little disrespectful to women, so I
Oh.
will keep that tucked into my.
and speaking of cancel culture, yeah,
We're on the
not
chopping
today.
block, dude.
We are. That's all right. It is what it is. It's the pulse. It's the nation. It's how it is.
It'll swing back.
Yeah,
the
it was
other
just
way.
going to be something mean, but it's all right.
Yeah, don't be
Well,
mean.
it probably wouldn't even been that funny. We would have thought it was funny, but maybe no one else.
Maybe
would.
no one else.
But yeah, how about that? I was always just in it for the chicks, man.
That's great. That's the
Like,
best.
how's that working out for you now?
Yeah. Well, maybe he's a Fortune 500 guy or something. Who knows? I'm glad that you heard that, how that just turned off.
I did now.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, that's a wine fridge.
Oh, it's always going.
You like the new video placement? We feel good about that?
Yeah, good. Yeah, thank you. And Lyman, if you're not watching this and just listening to this, Lyman's jumping around. I mean, he's fixing equipment. He's getting the mic right into Aaron's mouth, which is important. and the camera's all good. So you transition. So now you're jamming. Talk to me about your first experience playing in front of in a restaurant bar.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember?
Was anyone throwing a beer bottle at you?
I've always wanted a tomato. I always tell people bring your tomatoes.
Freaking awesome.
Right? When you've seen the videos, like the guys behind the chain fence, right, in Texas.
Oh, like Roadhouse. Was that what it was called? Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze?
Yes.
R.I.P.?
Yes.
Yep, and it's
Great
in that
movie.
Toby Keith video where they're like throwing bottles at him.
The famous the guitar player is blind, playing in that, playing the slide guitar. Oh, I don't think of his name. But in that movie, there's a super famous guitar player. He was blind.
I'll have to watch that.
And playing a slide guitar behind the cage, and people were throwing bottles and French fries and whatever they could get their hands on, throwing it out, and he just played right through it. Awesome.
I was too concerned with the first. It was the first movie that I had ever seen nudity in.
Ooh.
And I was young, so that was like a big one.
Ooh, and then he pulls the classic, rips the guy's throat out. That's how he killed the one guy, right? Patrick Swayze.
Swayze's my hero.
Yeah,
man.
That's when he was the bouncer. Is that when he
just-
was the bouncer? That's Roadhouse,
Yeah,
right? He
he
was the
just
bouncer.
pulls his throat right out, and that's it. The guy just drops, and no one else gave him a problem after that.
Yeah, that's right. That's great. That dude from Yellowstone was in Roadhouse. Am I right?
Oh, Kevin Costner?
No.
Isn't Kevin Costner
He
in
is.
No,
Yellowstone?
Chris Christopherson.
I thought it was the one oh maybe that's. I thought it was, or was it Sam Elliott? Is that who was in Roadhouse?
No.
Sam Elliott, the cowboy?
Yeah, I think he was in Roadhouse.
Yeah, take a look at that.
Bottom of it. Here we go.
While you're looking, first restaurant gig.
The cool thing about you guys having me on here that I figured would be a big surprise.
Lies. Sam Elliott.
Okay.
Bam. He's got a great
Jeff Healy.
He's got a great
is
voice.
guitar player.
Sam Elliott.
Jeff Healy.
Yep, great guitar player. Yep.
Yeah, Sam Elliott. He's the man.
Sam Elliott. I was thinking Chris Christopherson. Sam Elliott. Yeah.
Yep.
With that deep raspy country
Yeah,
voice.
absolutely.
Sam Elliott.
I dig your style, dude.
I dig your style.
But do you have to use so many gosh darn cuss words?
You
First job I ever had
Yes.
was 1996. Little local brewery had just opened up.
Oh.
Washing dishes at Barley Creek.
Barley.
Yeah.
Barley was first. Oh,
What'd
yeah,
you
Barley
say?
was first. Because they opened the same.
Lame.
Poconos Brewing Company in
Of
Barley.
course he was going to say Barley Creek.
Everybody
Plus,
goes through Barley.
We just said, yep.
Didn't
I
you
worked
go
there.
through Barley?
Of course. That's where I met my wife.
That's
Barley Creek, circa 2000.
He was our first guest. Mr.
Six.
Tripper Vane was the first
Oh, wow.
guest on the Restaurant 360
Yeah.
podcast.
a lot of people have been fixed up at Barley.
I got hitched.
Nice.
So that was your first
I
gig.
was ensnared.
96.
I
was 13, Aaron.
young man.
Oh, buddy.
A lot of people have met their wives at Barley.
Yeah.
My brother met his wife.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I was with a girl for 3.5 years at Barley, and then another girl for over 10 years from
And then
Barley.
another one.
So yeah, that's a good chunk of my life.
10 years with one girl.
Yeah,
That's serious.
That's sad.
It's like a lifetime for you.
So why not washing dishes? And then Zach and I got my buddy Zach Lawless, local player, got him a gig there. We were both washing dishes, and then local musician who's still around, plays in New York all over, Tom Riccobono. I'm sure you know who Tom is.
Absolutely.
He was hosting open mic night. So we'd be working there on a Wednesday night, and then we would come out of the kitchen on the clock and plug in and do some jamming. And so that was one of the first times I ever performed. We also did a talent show in eighth or ninth grade maybe. Played a talent show with Andy, our band, but that was Ryan Locker, local Barrett boy, you know, Chip and Patty's son. He was our drummer, but not a restaurant. So Barley kind of constituted the first, but it wasn't a paying gig. We did a gig up at JD Crackers, Zach and I. Yeah.
I don't even know the place.
JD Crack.
It's called, affectionately referred to as the Shady Crack House. Right?
Oh, nice.
JD's Crackers.
Can I tell you,
in,
I bet they would pay you very well if you wanted to go back and be a dishwasher at Barley Creek right now.
Hey,
I'm
you know,
sure
I
they
thought
could use the help.
Do you guys need me to come in?
Anytime.
Yeah.
All right.
I could use a dishwasher.
Really?
Always.
I would love
always.
to get back into it.
Dishwashers are in such high demand. The problem is you can't pay them that much.
Right.
It's
Well,
Really-
that's relative. What do you mean that much? A year and a half ago, it was a $10 position. Now it's a $15 position.
That's
Wow.
correct.
That's crazy.
I'm not saying that you can't get paid well, but relative to the job, it's always been a tough gig. It's always a tough, underappreciated position. Just is.
Yeah.
So anyway, Shady Crackers.
Yeah, Shady Crack House. But that's Dixon City, Total Dive Bar.
DC.
Yeah, now it's called something else, and I've played there too. My buddy owns the place, the V Spot. It's called the V Spot.
Oh, heard.
All right, Dirty Crackers, the V spot.
Yeah.
I think I've been
Cool.
to a V spot before.
Just one.
I'd love to hear about it. So
That's another
So
podcast.
then a lot of the gigs we had though were like band gigs, and they weren't necessarily at restaurants. So then it was like the Thirsty Camel, which is now a fireworks store.
Dude, do you only play it like dirty
And that
Yes.
was
restaurant names?
Dude,
Absolutely.
how dope was that
And the
place?
Swiftwater Inn right here.
Swifty.
The Swifty. So then I
So
think
you were on the
Swifty. I
circuit.
bet we've mentioned the Swifty in every podcast so far. Just
and I
putting it
think-
out there.
I think Barley was like the first like real restaurant I ended up doing a paying gig for. But back in the day, the solo thing didn't even occur to me. I wanted to bring my band out. I had a band, bass, electric
What was
guitar.
the name of the band?
Oh man, I don't. You know, we had a lot of different names.
Give
We
me
went
some
through
of
them.
them. Give me some
one.
of them. Come on.
With the Zach.
The
we
Dirty V? No.
we were the Fat Glass Catfish at one point, and then we changed to everybody's favorite was Mugwump,
Okay.
and then the Blue Note Special, and then Erin McClelland Band just seemed to work from there on. And a lot of people give you, that's another one of those things that is like outdated, like to name. Oh, he named his band after himself. How
Dave
cute!
Matthews did pretty good with that name.
Absolutely. And what better way to keep pushing your name? Because I'm going to do a solo thing. But I didn't really occur to me to go out and do solo acoustic gigs, which is kind of like the name of the game. Ever since the market crash of like 2008, 9, like a lot of the band gigs have
Because you can't. Well,
evaporated.
and I can tell you as an owner operator, to bring in 5 pieces is first of all, how many places can you play?
You have to have a stage.
Where are you
Where?
going to put the band?
Right.
How are you going to pay the band?
Right.
And why are they so loud?
Tough.
Yeah. Exactly.
You get
Tough.
one guy or gal, or even a duo, and it's a lot more.
Yeah, and you can play the room.
You can
the
control
band
it.
you're in.
It's hard to turn down drums.
Yeah, the drummer really got the shaft in this whole thing.
Sorry.
Poor drummer.
The drummer
Sorry.
players.
And you got to love the drum, man.
Sorry,
Drums
Jerry. You got to wait out in the van. You got to sit this one out, bud.
Sorry, bud.
Hey, but we'll bring you a cheeseburger when we're done. Oh, man.
The sax players, the trumpet players.
Keep the
whole
van
thing.
running.
Yeah.
They all kind of took a hit there.
What was did you ever dream of,
Stardom?
yeah, I was going to say, did you have this thought of being, hey, I want to be national. I want to be huge.
It's probably sounds counterintuitive to the whole process, but believe it or not, no. Like that was never I always thought it was a cool dream to aspire to. Like, wouldn't that be amazing if that happened for me? But when I got with like I said, we were self-taught for the first 3 or 4 years, and then I heard this guy Miles Davis, played the trumpet, and I was like, wow. So Jerry, the Dead, was really into jazz. That was like one of their inspirations. They were into jazz, so I checked out Miles, and then I heard this jazz guitar player, Wes Montgomery, changed my life forever. And I said, all right, well, I could learn a lot of these blues players' licks and use my ears and try to figure it out. But this jazz thing is probably not something I'm going to be able to figure out on my own. So who's a teacher? And then I got with my man Spencer Reed, local legend from New York. And when I got with Spencer, and he taught me how to read music, and he taught me how to have a more professional and grounded approach towards being like an actual professional musician, it just changed my life. And when I realized that I could go to school to improve and become like a classical and jazz, like more of a professional artist, I think that maybe part of me was hoping for, that you'd get picked up. But you go to a place like Berklee College of Music and you're like, wow, you thought in this town you were good.
You get humbled real quick.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that happened to a lot of my friends like Seamus and a whole other list that might not have had, just to be completely honest, the skill set that I had going in. And everybody even said at Berklee, they were like, dude, you were so lucky to have Spencer. So I was kind of up in the upper 3/4 percentile, I would say. That's where I was. I wasn't down here. I was one of the better players, like above the 50%. I was at the 75%. But some of these dudes from like Czech and Eastern European, like they were so cool too. And some of them weren't. But some of these guys, and even when I went out to USC in LA, like So this dude Perry, John Story and Perry Smith, amazing players. They're both doing big things, but they've been playing since they were like 8 years old, and they also had like an intense like instruction brought up. Understand? So I was way behind that.
Yeah, you were washing dishes and picking up a guitar with only 3 strings on it, or Bar the Creek.
Exactly. So anyway, but when I saw Spence, the point I guess is when I saw Spencer Reed and I got with him and I went to Berkeley and I saw my professors, I said, now that is kind of what I would like to do, to be like a Spencer, to be someone who it doesn't have to be this make or break, because I think that's what a lot of people that kind of I don't know if I would say it's cognitive dissonance, but it's this idea that you're either going to like make it or you're going to be like an accountant or something. And it's like, well, there's a way that you can do this and still leave your options open for anything. But the idea of having like a good, steady kind of gig, not necessarily doing a job outside of music, whether it was teaching music or some combination thereof, like where I'm at, playing a lot, probably playing more than teaching right now due to COVID and the classroom thing. Anyway, so I always just thought, wouldn't it be cool to like live where you want to live in a cool town with your family and friends, and maybe you move on and maybe you go somewhere else. But I guess the dream is always there. Like, who wouldn't want to become like what John Mayer's doing right now? He's playing with the Dead. Like that, to me, that's awesome. But for me, I also said, I knew at a very young age, I was like, well, I'm not going to beat myself up because, very few people, and you can see it now with the internet and everything, there are so many talented acts in the country, in the world. It's insane. There's just not enough room for them all to be.
Such a small percentage of people that get paid a lot of money to do it.
Right.
In other words.
Exactly.
Right. Music, acting, and sports.
Such a small percentage of people. So you could have been in a different place at a different time, and someone could have said, "Oh, great, let me throw a deal at you," right? And it just, I don't think it's not. Unfortunately, it's not always based on talent, because like you're saying, you are probably more talented / naturally gifted / motivated, driven than other people, but it still has to be like sort of chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
For that to go to that next stage of like sort of stardom.
Absolutely. A lot of the guys I know, even from USC, they're doing big things. And if you put us next to each other, you might scratch your head a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
But that's life, and that's why it's very like I try to take like kind of almost like a Eastern philosophy or like a Buddhist approach to it. It's like, can you be content with what you have? And like you get to meet great people and you get to be a part of a community. And when you can give back and actually find those students, like I had a student at Marywood from Malaysia, Hawk, and Hawk is a brilliant young player. And like the impact that I had on him as a player and as a teacher, but also the impact I had on his life was kind of like what Spencer did for me. And when you really look at it, like, well, what's more important than
rewarding, fulfilling? What is your percentage of income playing gigs to teaching? I don't need to know how. I'm not asking how much you make,
right?
But out of 100% of your income, how much of it comes from?
I'll tell you, it used to be like 70-30 teaching.
Teaching was 70, gigs were 30.
Yeah, but then I got busier. I did. I rectified a few things in my personal life and helped bolster my vocals and kind of put the guitar maybe a little bit like less as the feature, playing the cover songs more as a feature, blah, blah, blah. Then it balanced out, and then it became like 60-40, and then 70-30, and then with COVID, now we're looking
so
at
then
like
March
90-10.
Really?
March 17th, 2020, they said, hey, by the way, there's this crazy pandemic that's going to start tomorrow, and that 30-40% of your income you can't really do anymore.
Yeah.
At least for the foreseeable
2 weeks.
year.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 weeks.
No,
2 weeks, they said.
Flatten the curve.
To flatten the curve.
2 weeks.
2
so
years,
you were
though.
out of a gig for 2 weeks that turned into...
3 months.
What'd you do during COVID?
That turned into what?
Yeah, well, actually...
I guess you got to play that summer maybe in a couple places.
You know what? A lot of musicians had it really rough. I gotta say, I was still getting a couple checks from like over at Guy Fieri's because they took their time paying. So I had all this residual money coming in, and I still had my classes. We just switched to online. And you'd be surprised how many people, I'm sure you're not surprised, would come out of the woodwork. Hey, you know what? We moved down to Florida. Louise, her kids, Zach and Liana. Hey, we moved down to Florida. We'd really like to start up with you in Zoom. Hey, you know what? Let me help you out with some Zoom lessons. A couple people.
So you pivoted
over.
real quick.
Oh, real quick. Transitioned real quick.
Nice.
And even the gigs, I had a couple people hire me to do like some online gigs. And
including the Frogtown Chop House, right? You did our New Year's.
And as soon as the casino could reopen to have indoor dining up at Ruth's Chris, where I play all the time, I went right back to like 3-4 nights a week there. And Skytop had us outside. So I was not as adversely impacted as a lot of musicians. Good. And I actually now it's like I'm still doing lessons. I'm teaching 5 hours straight tomorrow, and I've got my students through the colleges virtually or in person. And some lessons on Sundays but I got to be honest, it's like 90% music, 10% teaching right now. And that's more of a testament to just how much I'm working. Like I've been playing without a break for I had one day off in say a 25-day span.
You play 25 straight gigs, basically.
Basically with one day off. I had 3 gigs the one day, and I'm in the midst of going straight through until March 13th is circled on my calendar. Sunday, I'm I can't wait for that day.
I bet. And you love it?
I love playing. Yeah, I do.
March 13th is a big day for Eric and I as well.
That's right.
What's up?
Oh, we can finally drink. I can finally drink again.
We are in a bet.
Oh, wow. Tell us about the
gentlemanly bet. Well, it includes money too.
Yeah, 4 guys, $100 each.
You have to give up your number one vice. Well, the one guy was 2 vices. Drinking and smoking.
Mine was drinking.
Cigarettes,
yeah.
So he was allowed to smoke weed.
Mm-hmm. Mine was drinking, so cut.
Eric was drinking, and that's an everyday habit.
That's tough.
And I gave up smoking weed.
And then another guy gave up
and
both.
I'm an everyday.
Yeah, well, if you like to drink or you like to smoke, it's
I gave up drinking and smoking cigarettes. So cigarettes have been 4 years without a cigarette.
Oh, good for you.
And drinking, I drink once every 6 weeks. There's something comes along, and I'll just go for it. I don't drink in between then.
Do you drink for
I drink for a purpose.
No, he drinks.
Taste?
You go to the wall.
He's a pure.
Stop it.
Right to the purpose. You almost wish he could. I wish I could make a drink.
One shot. If I could get one shot and get to where I was after 3 or 4 drinks and just sort of stay there.
Yeah.
The last one we were at was Kara's wedding. Oh, buddy.
What's your go-to? If you're you know what, I feel like tying one on
at the
tonight.
wedding. Well, I drank Jack Daniels forever, and it totally fucked up my stomach.
Oh, no.
Bad shape, right?
Oh.
So I just got away from drinking it. I feel way better.
Jack Daniels or Long Island.
Function better. Jack and Diet. Jack and Diet is my go-to. I drank Jack Daniels, Jack and Diet forever.
Yeah.
The nights that he does
so if we're going for it, I'll drink champagne. I'll start with a little champagne, and then I'll just start hammering Jack and Diet. I'll drink half a bottle. And then the last we were at, I was doing shots with a local, a couple of the local doctors, a local politician, hanging at the bar. He walks away, hey, what are you guys doing? I'm like, not much, dude. Shots.
It's hysterical.
It's a lot of fun to watch. He didn't take a shot with me, but I tried really hard.
But I'll tell you what, though.
Some of those guys could drink you under the table. You'd be surprised.
Dude, a month is tough, though. We're about 3 weeks in.
I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, there's 11. What did I count? 11 days.
11 days left. 2 weeks was
I've
no
almost
problem.
Given up
well,
twice.
Frank Sinatra said it best. Frank Sinatra said, I feel bad
Can
for
you
people.
sing it though, like Frank Sinatra?
I love that quote.
I know. I feel bad for people that don't drink because the best part of their day is the moment they wake up. It's so true. Dude, I feel
absolutely.
Now, I'll tell you what, though. There you go. Perfect.
Nice. We're gonna get you up here on stage. Music Monday coming up,
and that is the one thing.
Here every day.
The mornings when you don't drink at all. Mornings.
Yep.
Are incredible.
Can you guys have a sing battle? Sing back and forth to each other?
Back and forth.
I don't want to lose.
Just with our eyes.
Just row.
I get to sing today. I get to sing today.
Can we do that? Can we do a little, what is it called when you do that? Row your boat.
No. Oh, you mean, what is that called?
It's called a canon. Canonic, yeah. It's just
what?
It's called a canon, yeah. When it actually started in the Gregorian chant. In the row.
But it's tough because you got to keep it going. It's very tough.
14th century, they started really adding on to what you could get away with in the chants and stuff like that.
You're a
plain
chant.
songs.
What's your favorite song to play of all time? If I say to you right now, you have one. You're gonna
You
jam.
only sing one song, play one song for the rest of your life. What is it?
If you believe in God, you're gonna play in front of Jesus or God, and this is you get one shot.
It's your
one
ticket
shot.
to heaven.
What is it?
Wow.
Wow, that's deep, bro.
That is
I
tough.
want to hear it because I know he's got one in there.
I like so many songs, I do like Fly Me to the Moon because it gives me a chance to play some jazz guitar licks.
Fly me to the moon.
So would that be it?
No, I don't think so.
Come on, that's not it.
No. Like, hey, Lyman, what's your go-to? You get to put out one. All right, so I'm putting out crab cakes.
You're feeding God.
Put out here, try a crab cake or a crab cake sandwich, right? That's like my go-to jam.
Yeah.
And like, Lyman, what is your favorite? Stuck on an island, I'm a pizza guy. That's it.
Oh,
I could
yeah.
live on pizza, right?
Oh, I would.
So,
100%.
Dude, your go-to song, like
A lot of people.
What do you start most sets with?
I try to mix that up because
really?
that gets real old real quick. And a lot of times you'll notice that your voice, like you're talking about the beginning of the day, I'm having one of those days where you wake up and you're like, yeah, I'll never drink again. But you get to this point
Did you
of the
drink
day.
last night?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see the puffy under his eyes.
What did you drink? What's your go-to drink?
Oh man, I do.
Are you
love,
all over the place?
Yeah, I do love red wine, but if I'm at a gig, like a little Grand Marnier or some Bullet Bourbon will help
Coat the throat a little bit.
Yeah, open you up.
I can't drink anywhere like that. You don't feel like shit this morning?
Oh my God, yes. And by this time of the
did you
day,
pass out last night?
late.
Or this morning?
2 a.m.
Oof.
And you were up at what time?
Oh, I got to sleep in today, so that.
Oh
was
my God!
nice.
Tell me you rolled out of bed at 2:30 in the afternoon.
9.
Oh, no.
9 o'clock?
No, maybe more like 11:30.
Oh, shit.
Oh, so
Yeah,
all right.
it's
all right.
nice. That's
So you
nice.
put one on last night.
Yeah,
So,
and
I still haven't heard. Let's not.
No,
get
I'm
too
going to
deep.
let him hear. He's filtering
he's
through in
getting
his
there. All right,
brain.
cool.
Yeah. The idea that you're like, oh, I'll never drink again, but then by this point in the day, you're like, you know what? Maybe by the time I get to the gig, I could have one. It's the same thing for my voice. It's like I wake up and people call me, and I'm like, what's the matter? I'm like, well, my voice is freaking tired. I sing every night, so I'm down here, and then I'll notice that when people make a request for one of the songs that's higher in my range, and if I have to start there, I did that last night. Perfect by Ed Sheeran. I started there, and I didn't really I thought I warmed my voice up enough, but I didn't because I had to go for a high note or a higher note right off the bat, and my voice felt lazy, and I just was like, oh, my whole gig is effed from this moment forward. I just knew it, but I ended up recovering nicely. But I would say
I'm never going to drink again, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have one. Let's have one.
Do you guys have anything to drink here at the Chop House? Right?
Yeah,
For
just
when we're
around-
I'm
finished?
surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you didn't. Yeah. You want to pick a bottle?
Just grab a bottle, crack it open.
So, to answer your question, usually first song of the gig, I'll try to take it somewhat easy on my voice so I can ease into it. One of the songs that I think people really, really like a lot that I play is the Hawaiian version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
No. Yeah.
That's one of the songs that I think I do well. I put a lot into that. But that's a tough one, because I like so much music and I like so many different artists and I like to play and I like to do stuff like Fly Me to the Moon or You Make Me Feel So Young, or I like to play Scarlet Begonias or Pearl Jam
Great
or
song.
Crash by Dave Matthews. Crush is probably one of my all-time favorites. Two Step, if we're talking about
I would say Crash for me is probably my. Well, no, I like the Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
What do you do? 3 songs? What do you do usually for me? You mix in one or two there? Or?
A lot of people like when I do Audio Slave Like a Stone,
Oh, yeah.
but I do Hearts and Thoughts, which we did for Chop Live.
Fade away.
And Black.
Yes. Yeah, you crushed. That's my favorite of yours, but that's
Anyway, at least you brought on somebody who likes to talk. It takes me 20 minutes to get to the point.
Great, but hey, we got there. What's your weirdest story at playing a gig, man? I'm sure it's happened. I drink too much all of a sudden. I can you know what I can see? I can imagine a lineman all banged up, going up to the musician,
doesn't have
hugging.
to imagine. That
Yeah,
used to
man.
get
Let me get
wasted
on
with Aaron
the mic.
when I was a
and
kid.
Let me get on the mic and sing. Give me a story.
Yeah,
One that stands. Give me something that stands out in your decades.
Has
of
anyone
gigging.
ever thrown up on you?
No,
in the
but
bedroom or in gigging?
Hey man, let me borrow your mic. Imagine all over the mic.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I have so many great stories about this kind of stuff. I mean, usually they involve me imbibing a little bit much, but I've got a good one for you.
Don't incriminate yourself.
Yeah, but since you said we can discuss things that happen that are a little risque, I'd say that one of the most frequent things that happens is people coming up and spilling a drink onto your pedals because they don't realize that this pedal board
tripping over your shit in front of you.
They cost tons of money.
Yeah, each pedal's probably at least $150. Some of them are like $3 or $4, and then you got the power supply, which is like $200, and then the pedal board itself, which is $200. So you're talking about 8 pedals. You're talking about like $1,500. But you know what? It's alcohol, so you just rub. You get some of that dust off there because they are stomp boxes that I'm hitting with my foot. So I just try to look at it positively. Like,
hey, thanks for helping me out there, bud.
Yeah. But yeah, I had a friend. She was really mad at me the one night, and she came up and she was like, this and that and the other. And
this is in the middle of your gigging.
Yeah, I was probably in the middle of a song, and I'm just like, and she just, her drink was spilling, like, soaked my, only one pedal, but it was soaked. Like, I'm surprised.
Get on there, Mike, there, bud.
I'm surprised the thing still works after that. It was soaked. So, great story. This is a good one, just because it's recent. This is like 3-4 weeks ago. This guy I barely know, he comes into the casino where I play all the time. He comes in, and he waves at me, and I said, oh, hey, what's up from there? But I couldn't hear, because I was up on stage, I couldn't hear his drawl, how drunk he was. I think he came off the high limits table, and he came in with his gal, and they were looking to spend some money, and man, they were toasted. And so he's just drawling, and the one manager, good friend of mine, she's just like, oh my God, what is this guy's deal? I was like, I kind of know him. I played for him one time at his bar up there, blah, blah, blah. I don't really know him, though. So then the next thing you know, he just drops my name across the bar. I'm like, oh, great. Thanks, bro. So one kid comes over. I was like, hey, Miles, can you get me some cracked pepper? And then so homeboy over here at the bar thinks he's being funny. There's like 4 of us. It's the end of the night. I'm sitting down to eat. There's like 4.
You're done working.
Yeah, I'm finished playing. And there's one table over here, and like there's 2 other people at the bar, him and his girl and I, at like a corner bar, like at the corner. So he thinks he's being funny. And he says, like basically full-throated, in a room full of like just like 2 bartenders, like in a dining room, and the manager. He says, where's my effing pepper? And she, the manager just like turns around. She says, excuse me? And she's like, we just try to, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I couldn't speak like that. And then he got like kind of patronizing about it. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that, blah, blah, blah. So then he brings her over and he starts telling her about Bird Steakhouse. I haven't heard of it. And he says, that's a place for people that want to go spend $500 that really know food. This place is like you're going to spend $500 and you don't really know food. So he went that route. And I'm like, you're just burying yourself.
Drunk.
Just awful. So then this is the best part. I'm a pretty good judge of people. I'm like, I don't think he's just drunk. He's definitely on something, There's something about that slur in his voice and just the way he was like not really able to like formulate sentences, and he just seemed off, there was just something off.
Little obituates.
So he says, so she's walking away and he's like, this is the last time I do meth in your ladies' room.
Oh, God.
And I was like, wow, that's a double whammy. Like, what are you doing in the ladies' room?
Oh, bud, reel it in.
What kind of gigs you playing?
Wow. I know. You get some wild people in the casino.
I bet you do.
Like some people that you just, that shouldn't be there. There's one dude I've been meeting. He's been like, yeah, I just live at these casinos, or like I stay here as long as I can until they kick me out. I'm like, what does that mean?
You mean like in a room?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Get comp rooms for a while. Yeah, you probably move around. You could probably, if you were good at it, you could probably jump around casinos quite a bit.
Like a professional
gambler? Stay 2 or 3 nights at a casino, play a little bit, get comped, eat some free buffet, and then move down to another casino for a couple nights. As long as you're, spending money, kind of winning.
How does that sound?
Miserable.
A casino's great for like 3 hours. There's a lot of miserable people in
this world.
Casino's only good for 3 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours.
It's not my thing.
No. 4 if you're winning. If you're winning, 4. If not, I'm home. I'm out.
Yeah, I can't.
I won't even bring a lot. Like the one time I went to Mount Airy to play, I think I brought $200.
That's our limit. That's our limit.
Is
when
it?
We go, that's it. We don't. I leave the wallet in the car.
Everything in the car, $200.
I don't even. They stopped IDing me when I was like 16. Just walk in and take $200.
I'll be honest.
Win or lose.
I don't even know my 4-digit PIN for my checking card.
Oh yeah,
because I'm just like I'm never for my debit card. I'm never going to be in a position where I want to take out cash.
And we're doing pretty good, Eric and I.
Couple. Yep. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. We're 3 for 3 in the last 3 visits. We've walked out with money, so we got the next 3 visits covered.
Yeah, Mount Airy's been good to me, to be honest with you. I think I'm about even there. And I've only played like 6 times.
Which is huge.
Even equals entertainment and fun.
Yep.
Do you what do you prefer to play in? A restaurant scene or bar scene or a casino scene? You play in all three.
I think you
right?
play a lot of casinos, right?
That's a restaurant gig.
Yeah, you have Ruth Chris, right?
Yeah, that's the restaurant.
It's not a bad steakhouse.
It's very much
not
like
the Chop House, but
no, it's very much like some of my other favorite gigs, like here, Stone Bar. I like those kind of fine dining.
That's
gigs.
kind of your spot, right? Because you can really.
Stone Bar is tight, though. Isn't it tight up there?
Yeah.
I guess we're kind of tight in here,
You know,
too.
it's about the mood. Like, because sometimes I'm in the mood to, like, really just make some noise. And then sometimes I'm not. And so some nights I go to the steakhouse and I'm just like, man, I really don't want to be, like, turned down or, like, held back tonight. And then some nights, like, I just went. Yeah, and then the one day, completely exhausted in the midst of this, I'm at Shawnee Ski Area, and they're like, hey, like, what do you got some easy listening for us? Why don't you ramp it up a little bit? And I'm like, I am half dead. I was just out for my birthday all night with my buddies the night before up in Syracuse, and I'm like, it's taking everything I have to stay awake right now.
Right.
Let alone
even standing is difficult.
Yeah, like thrashing.
No, wait! I was playing. Oh shit! Sorry.
Yeah. So some nights I really want to let loose, and some nights I really love to play that kind of like that fine dining scene where it's not like
chill.
Where it's almost like we don't even want you in there like playing at your hardest, let alone like not volume, but even like fast, intense songs or stuff like that. That's just not what the vibe is. And as I've gotten older and gotten so entrenched in that scene, that's almost like what I'm more used to doing than say going to like the Warrior, which is always fun for me. If I go to a place like Warrior playing the 10:30 shift, like we're going to hit the fire all night. Like just let's rock it out.
What about like if you, what happens when you have that one drink, like you're jamming and like that one drink and do you ever sit down and you're like, oh, I'm fucked up.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing about alcohol is it doesn't hit you instantaneously, right? So you're on your way up and then you're like, oh man, what just happened? You know what I mean?
And you still have 45 minutes left to play?
Sometimes it could be longer. Oof. And but I've really reined in understanding like what's reasonable. And I think a lot of the problem for musicians is that like you guys know how I play. I go from song to song to song to song to song. Mm-hmm. So then if you are going to take a sip, you're probably going to end up power drinking some whiskey, which I've been using the term power drinking. It's like somebody brings you a shot, that's fine, but sometimes you end up with like a double shot and then you do too much of that double shot, and that's usually what ends it for me. That'll get you.
That's where it takes you down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, absolutely. So I usually do better with like, one snifter at a time. Take it easy. Let it marinate. Let it see how you're sitting. But yeah, there's been nights where I've just you just get tired. But if you work it right, you can actually be like it can actually be like an energy building process. I think for me, But the other thing is you gotta take care of yourself. You know what I mean? I don't sit around watching TV all day.
It's a tough gig, man. You get at least a 20 to 30 minute exercise every gig you work, because that equipment, well, maybe not as much anymore, but back in the day,
oh yeah,
I used to have, I've been in the restaurant business for 20 some years now, and I've helped many a musician carry equipment from the car inside the restaurant and back out, and some of those things are 80, 90 pounds.
Oh yeah.
And you're hauling it.
It's pouring rain.
Raining,
you gotta love it.
snowing.
Yeah, that's not the best part of gigging, right?
Oh, there's some funny things that can happen there. But yeah, and even just outside of like lugging my bows, that's a nice thing about the steakhouse gig I have is they have their own system.
Oh, perfect.
So when I play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I just bring in my cart that has all my books and my pedal board and my guitar, but then I get to leave it there for the next 2 days. And so I come in Monday and then I move out Wednesday night.
Perfect. Dream gig.
Well, and the equipment is shrunk drunk too. I mean,
Exactly.
nobody carries. I don't think they carry the speakers around anymore.
But the Bose Tower is still, my Bose Tower is still not easy,
Pretty heavy,
really.
yeah.
But it's not bad. And I also have a cart if I'm feeling lazy. But it's not even that. It's people like the energy that you expend actually singing and playing.
Sure.
But you're right. You get 20 on the way in, 20 on the way out.
That's right.
But like during the day, I am like mentally and it's like kind of like I approach it like I'm an athlete. Like I am mentally and physically preparing to expend that energy.
Of course it is. When you perform, it's like well, like our friend, who's a pastor. He only
Pastor Dave?
Yeah.
Love that guy.
Oh, you played there?
Love it.
So he
Get me
works
back
all
in.
week.
Hell yeah.
He works. We were just with him today.
Nice.
He works a ton, right? And never say, oh, you only work 3 hours a week, right? Because that's when anyone ever sees him.
Right.
But he, as well as probably a majority of pastors, he does 2 sermons on Sunday, and he has to take a nap late Sunday afternoon. Like I'll go to call him or something, he'll be like, "Oh, dude, sorry, I laid down for 2.5 hours and fell asleep."
It's adrenaline.
Because you put so much into it, and his line of work is there's a lot of emotion involved in what the message he's delivering. And yours, like any performance, I'm sure actors that go on stage and perform for 2.5, 3 hours, by the time you're done, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like it just takes a lot out of you. So yeah, I totally
brutal.
understand that.
Right.
That concept of putting in more energy than it looks like to people.
Right.
Well, practicing. You didn't just wake up and play you can play 450 songs.
Right.
That's a lifetime of work, man.
Right, absolutely. And just like learning your craft and like people always ask like, dude, I don't get how you're playing 7 days a week and some of them are doubles. And I'm like, well, simple. Like, your diet and like working out, like it's a real thing. Like
Absolutely.
in order to do this, I have to like, I go on hikes or jogs. I have a cool property now where I can actually walk and there's cows down behind me. So
Nice.
I like jog down there, jog back
Get
up
some
the
fresh
hill.
milk.
Get some dung.
All
Some
of
dung
that
and
stuff.
milk.
Looking in there, see what grows in their dung.
There you go. Hey, man.
And,
Fly me to the moon. That's all I'm singing in my head on repeat. It
But
sucks.
my brother gave me his P90X DVDs in the beginning of pandemic.
Classic.
And that just like kind of changed everything for me. So I
yeah,
try
how
to
many
make sure I
push-ups
get-
can you do?
Oh, God.
I don't know.
We'll talk about workout with this guy.
How many push-ups do you think you could do if I said right now, push-ups until you stop? How many could you do?
With my push-up bars or on my
No,
hands?
just on your hands.
What did I do the other
Get
day?
down.
4?
Eric did 4 and he almost died.
Nice.
Dude, his son was on the side. 9, 1. Dad. He's like, no, it's okay.
It was
Don't
not
push.
that bad.
Well, in P90X, it's like a mix of different things. So,
You're
High intensity.
You're avoiding the question. Just give me an answer.
but the
How many
real
can you
kicker
do?
is
You probably can't
pull-ups.
do many, right?
Push-ups? Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know.
very
Right now,
little, right?
no, I could
Oh, you
probably
can
do
do it.
50.
I'd say that I would like to think that I could do 50, but I'd probably be ready to tap out by like 35.
Heard.
But then again, I hadn't worked out
4 is pretty
today.
embarrassing.
It's pretty rough.
But
pretty rough.
what the best part is if you do work out, you have this built-in excuse. It was like, well, yesterday was my arms
Oh
or
yeah, I'm
chest
sore.
day, so-
And I am really. I am actually really sore.
Exactly. So today was like a cardio day for me and not a strength day. But yeah, the pull-ups, like when I lost weight and I
Can't do
could
a
start
pull-up.
doing pull-ups, that was like a game changer. I was like,
Yeah, it's
wow.
fun. I have fun fact, which is weird. I have very vivid dreams. I have my whole life, which sometimes really sucks. A lot of times, often it sucks because they're so vivid and it doesn't lend.
So you
its-
get recurring dreams.
recurring
Me
dreams
too, yeah.
and vivid.
Wow.
Like I can understand them. I can remember them. I wake up during them. I sleep through them. So it's very.
You remember them?
Oh yeah.
So I don't remember any dreams.
Very rare that I'll like wake up and just have like sort of a blank night, unless
Right.
I take some Tylenol
I didn't
PM
know
or
that.
something and
It's
just
a big
go
thing
off.
for smokers is actually to not
Smokers,
remember
and
their
now
drinks.
I'm
And
spending
if
it-
you don't smoke, you should be remembering your
I remember
drinks.
zero
a
dreams
lot of now
because I'm living mine.
sober nights, so they're very very vivid. You know?
Wow.
Anyway, one of the cool parts of the dreams is I will dream that I can do pull-ups like endlessly, and it's such an awesome feeling to just be like, yeah, like doing pull-ups.
That's
like,
weird.
over and over.
Wow, vivid dreams of him fucking pulling up pull-ups. Come
That's
on, Lyman.
one
Let's
part.
get
God,
let's
I have
hope they
so
get
many
a-
dreams.
let's hope
You
they
want
get
to
a
tell you
little
all of
deep.
them?
Have you guys
today.
ever like
We're talking
had a
about pull-ups.
lucid dream where you control what's happening
Yes.
in your dream?
I don't remember
Pretty
any.
freaking amazing, man.
Yes.
No.
Where you're like, oh wait, yeah, I'm in charge and I can make this happen. Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty wild.
It's very cool. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I remember one of the last real.
It can be scary
ones.
too.
It was. I was in like this really cool rock-filled like river, and the water was perfectly clear, and this giant like water snake was like 10 feet, and he came right at me and like bit me right in the face. And I woke up. I was like, why did I want that to happen? Why did I will that to happen? Yeah.
What does it mean?
Yeah, what is a long snake going in your mouth?
right at your face in a wet river.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
man, dude. And on that note,
What was his name? What was the snake's name?
oh man, I was just gonna say something bad.
George.
well, dude, we're this has been fun.
Yeah, probably.
Heck
Yeah, we're hit
We
our
keep
time,
going,
which
I mean,
sucks.
but-
Nah, we gotta.
I know.
Our fans like 50 minutes, and we're over that. 45.
Some of those lucid dreams are more risky.
I bet. I
wouldn't tell you.
That's for the late night podcast.
That's right.
Erin McClelland, dude, thank you so much for coming
you
out.
guys.
Yeah, bro.
I would have loved to cover.
Where's my Chop
We're going
Live
to talk.
sweatshirt?
We'll
we got you
find
one.
you one.
Oh, we got you
I
one.
need some swag.
Or actually, we do have a T-shirt for you, I believe.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I think we do have a T-shirt.
Can
I
you
think we
sing
do.
something? Sing 2 lines of Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Oh, I don't know.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
See, Eric's got it.
Yeah, well, he's great.
Up
Sing us 2 lines of
high.
something. Give us something.
You want
On the
s-
way out. On the way out.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars.
Love his voice.
Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, oh, hold my hand. Oh, in other words, oh, baby, kiss me. I lost my note there without my guitar.
Yeah, but I'm
I'm
okay with
worthless, you know?
You're not worthless. That dude, I usually have to pay $250 or whatever the hell you get paid now. I love you, man. Thank you so much.
6,000.
Thanks for joining us. Again, everybody, Restaurant 360 podcast. Listen to it everywhere. The restaurant industry served raw.